Welcome back to Smart Money. We're in conversation with Radhika Gupta, the MD and CEO of Edelweiss AMC. Very interesting discussion on all of the investing mistakes that we've made in the last decade or so and the big learnings along the way. Radhika, the one thing I wanted to talk about is peer pressure, right? It hurts a lot of investors. So let's talk a little bit about that. Have you faced peer pressure in your financial journey, and what has your big learning been?
So the finance world is very competitive. It's very money driven. And less in investments, but personally in my journey, I don't know if you know, but I come from a world where compensation is publicly disclosed for all CEOs. So if I want to feel really unhappy about myself, I can just go see how many people are making more money and less. So peer pressure surrounds us. I mean, I joke the phenomena in India is called Sharma Ji Ka Beta, right? Yeah. Everyone compares themselves to Sharma Ji Ka Beta, whether he exists or not. And that's why, to my previous point, I think having a sense of goals and having a sense of inner voice is extremely important, because the reality is financial personalities and circumstances are very different person to person.
Absolutely. So, but a lot of young people struggle with that, right?
Yeah.
They don't, maybe it's conditioning, maybe it's childhood trauma, maybe it's just the kind of environment we live in. How do you come out of that?
How do you come out of peer pressure? I think having a clear sense of what is important to you and what is not important to you. And this is not just about money. This is true in careers, this is true in life partners, and this is true in money. So, how much return do you need to survive is a question you should ask. The worst question to ask is what is the best performing fund? Because really investment or investing is not a horse race. It serves a purpose. The question to ask is what are the kind of returns I need to ensure I can fulfill my goals, but I don't lose sleep at night.
Because for you personally, it's been such a long journey in every possible way, right? Of course, all of us know that story, the girl with the broken neck, and now you've come to this where you are today. So I'm sure along the way, there would have been a lot of self-doubt, not just in your financial decisions, in your life decisions, when you compare yourself with peers. How have you risen above all of it?
I think I have learned to tune out the noise. I mean, I'm 20 years younger than my average peer. You tend to be a lone woman in this journey. And all of this, by the way, we just had World Mental Health Day, can be very negative for your mental health. So I think I've learned to have a sense of what matters to me. I've tried to tune out the noise and constantly ask myself, I actually write this down at the end of the year. And then third, have a sense of gratitude. I think that really helps. So if you are grateful for what you are, what you have, money-wise or otherwise, I think you become a lot more stable. So I actually write a list of the 10 things I'm thankful for at the end of the year, and it really helps me.
Okay, and thank you for this advice. Very helpful, across whether it's finance or even life. Let's move on to the next finance lesson now. The importance of being proactive while investing. Now, what do you mean by this, and what was the mistake that you made in your early days?
So I think the importance of being proactive is about just understanding different asset classes. Very easily, we outsource investing. Oh, my father will do it, especially with women, or someone else will do it for me. I read about this somewhere, and we can be very sort of casual about it. And I think it's important to, one, start, but also research. And the good thing today, Sonia, is there are so many options. There's so much literature. There's so many shows like this and conversations like this. And the reality is, you don't need to read a balance sheet to be a good investor. With funds, there are enough options for the novice investor who doesn't have time. But it's important to have a basic level of knowledge before investing.
Okay, you recently on Twitter, you put out this very interesting picture, a pictograph kind of thing, where you said that there are 144 crore Indians,
yes,
but barely 3.5 crore Indians invest in mutual funds. That's not even 2%, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think that is? And in this day and age where there's so much social media, there's so much access to free resources, why are people still not investing?
So I asked the question when I put that out that there are like 40-50 crore users on OTT platforms. And if you can afford an OTT subscription, why can't you do an SIP? And then someone told me OTT gives you entertainment and an SIP doesn't. And maybe the answer lies in something like that. I think good investing is in some sense a little boring. Perhaps we need to do a little bit more work to appeal to a younger generation of consumers. But good investing is boring. I think there's also the belief that I don't have enough to start. That's a common question, that I don't have enough of a corpus to start. And I always say, if you can afford Netflix or if you can afford to order on a food delivery platform, you clearly have enough to start.
Absolutely. Okay, so how do we keep our investment options simple, right? That's one mistake that a lot of people make. They get into very, very complicated things because somebody missells it to them. What's your approach?
So I should tell you something personally. I started my career trading a product called collateralized mortgages. It is just complex. I have probably invested in 15 different countries across asset classes. So in Hindi, the line is, "Maine ghat ghat ka pani piya hai." If you ask me what my personal portfolio is, it's just SIPs into mutual funds. And the reason is, it's not because I'm a fund professional, genuinely. The reason is a simple SIP or a simple product does everything you need with liquidity, with transparency, with reasonable costs and with disclosure. And very often I hear investors say, "Oh, I've done that SIP, but give me something more." Oh, that's for basic investors, that's for retail investors. And the truth is, investing is very democratic. What is good for a retail consumer is also good for someone with a lot of money. So we have to get it out of our head that something complicated is better for us. Very often it tends to be worse for us.
Okay, well, we have time for just 2 more lessons, so let's go through that. Any other lesson that you have that you've perhaps learned in your investment journey?
So it's not a mistake I've made, but it's a mistake I see a lot, and I do want to mention it. And it's the getting really short term. I think the world is getting more and more short term. So I see people talking about 6-month returns, 12-month returns, etc., etc. And I keep reminding everyone that we live in India. Our large cap equity markets grow at 12%. Multi-cap fund probably grows at 15%. You just need to hang around long enough and not be obsessed with the short term. You know, people are chasing the best performing fund in the short term, the best performing asset class in the short term. You have no ability to make sense of short-term news. So that's a big one that I just want to talk about.
The power of patience, right?
The power of just patience and forgetting what's happening in the last 1 year. It doesn't matter.
Okay, finally, a couple of questions, just understanding your own journey, right? You've been in the market, what, 20 years now?
Yeah, about 18 years.
18 years. At some point, you would have a number, a retirement number. Everyone has it. What's yours?
Okay, I think retirement's overrated. I was going to ask you what a number means, but I don't have a number. I think financial independence is important. Financial independence to me is not retiring. It is about having enough money so that you're doing work not under the pressure of money, so that you're living a life where your goals are fulfilled and you're living a life that is happy. But I love what I do too much to retire. And I want to say, my dad is 70 and he's retired, but he's the busiest guy on earth. He works in foreign policy and he loves it. And I hope in today's India, most of us have jobs that we truly love. So yeah, I don't like retiring.
Number.
I don't have a number. Maybe I should go look for a number.
Well, as they say in that book, right, Psychology of Money, money buys you time. And
money buys you time.
And it buys you flexibility, that's
exactly.
all. Okay, finally, since you're a mother now,
yeah,
this balance, this eternal dilemma of whether you can have it all, can one really have it all?
You can have it all, but not in a perfect setting. So sometimes there are ads, perfect mom, perfect wife, perfect investor. It doesn't happen. You can have a career. You can be a CEO, you can be a mom, you can be a writer, you can be all of that. But you will have days when you feel very good about it. You will have days where you feel totally in control. And you will have days where you want to hit your head against a wall. You don't have a plan, where things fall apart. So you can have it all, but not every day.
Not all the time.
In the long term, you can have it all, but the short term will be crazy.
Okay, always an inspiration. Thank you so much, Radhika, for joining us. And it was, one of the best half an hours. Lots to learn. And, I hope and pray that you continue to achieve the kind of success that you have, and hope to see you again on our channel.
Thank you. It's awesome.
All right. With that, it is curtains down. Have a great weekend. See you again on Monday.